What is up and welcome back. We are your Colorado real estate family, Pete and Chelsea Sweeney. Today we're going to be breaking into what to expect if you are planning on moving into Denver in 2023.
All right, let's go.
Before we really break into this topic, I'm going to tell you guys right now that this is going to be a multiple video series because we're looking into what's coming into the Denver area for 2023, and there was so much. This seriously would have been like an hour-long video. So what we're going to do is we're going to break into the broader stuff, right? The stuff that we still get asked questions about, even though we've covered it in the past, but people are still asking us the same questions. So if you are planning on moving to Denver in 2023, some stuff that you might really want to know, guys. Since this is going to be a multiple video series, I highly recommend you do hit that subscribe button and notification bell right away. That way you'll be notified when the videos trailing this one right here are going to come out. All right, let's go and break into the first thing that we still get asked about all the freaking time when talking to many people who are calling into Colorado, and that is...
that Colorado is not just snow all the time. So we talk about this a lot when it comes to weather, but it's really important to understand that we do have how many days of sunshine? Like
300 days of sunshine is what Colorado averages.
300 days of sunshine. And not only that, we are getting a lot more elements recently. So when we were kids, we did get some good snowstorms. I don't feel like we've had similar snowstorms to that in a very long time. Now, we also have been getting some rain this season, some sleet. We do have wind. And then, of course, our beautiful summers. People leave other states that are wonderful all year round to come to our state because it does change. Now, we still have big, beautiful summers, but they're not extremely hot with humidity, so it makes it a lot more tolerable, a lot more enjoyable to be outside. The other thing is the further you get into their mountains, the cooler it's going to be in the summertime, so you do have an escape from even the really, really hot summer to be able to go deeper in the mountains and have kind of a cooler temperature.
Yeah, guys, I remember when I first went in the military, I was only 17 years old. Anytime I told someone that I was from Colorado, they're like, what, do you live in an igloo or what? And we brought this up so many times before, where it is not just snow here. Between so many people thinking that Colorado is always covered in snow, or the fact that our entire state is covered in mountains, two huge misconceptions that we constantly run into. So we try and cover it as much as possible to make sure that you are informed before moving to this beautiful state.
Yeah, it's funny. One of you guys were traveling here by car, and you were like, okay, well, when we get to Colorado, and there was this idea that you were gonna like hit mountains, it'd be pretty obvious. But the east side of Colorado, it looks just like Kansas, okay?
Yeah,
like it is
does.
boring. Hey, there's a lot of cops out there because you just catch yourself just trying to cruise past that to get to the beautiful part of Colorado. But yeah, we have a lot of flat land outside of our foothills and our mountains, and so between the misconception of snow and the misconception that all of us is mountains, those are two things we have to cover in this video if you're planning on calling Colorado your home in 2023.
The second thing that we're going to be covering is the fact that development is changing old and even new Denver right now, because currently, so the biggest one that's coming down the line is Elitch Gardens, which is like our own amusement park inside of downtown. There's plans to rip that down and kind of making like this whole community area all within there, which is a huge surprise because it's like Elitch Gardens is a huge thing in Denver growing up, and the fact that they're now planning on tearing it down, it kind of breaks my heart a little bit. It hasn't happened yet, but I mean, it's going to be happening in the future. And you can see that they're actually like, they're trying to put like rebates on tickets right now to get as many people in there as possible.
Yeah, so Elitch is, just to give you an idea, Elitch is in 1995 when in this location. It turned into Six Flags. That was like the new name when it actually got bought out by this developer, and that changed to Six Flags in 1998. 2006 is when that whole sell went, where they purchased it with the plans in the future to develop Elitch's from the very, very beginning. So nobody really knew when that was going to happen, and it still is actively going, but that will be a big change to Denver. So if you're coming here and you're like, oh my gosh, you even have like an amusement park, hold your brakes. Now, they are saying that they are going to move it. They're not getting rid of it altogether. And so the good news is that we'll still have an amusement park, but nobody really knows exactly where it's going to land. And nobody exactly knows when the new development will happen. But this is right when, we take 20th for everything. When we come down and go to Denver, we do oftentimes take either 20th or Spear. And that is the area that is changing the most, especially wiping out the amusement park and seeing all this new development. It is going to change that area significantly.
And so now we're kind of talking about old Denver, and this is kind of old news. Like if we're talking about the Highlands, Hilo, all this stuff's really kind of been coming up and coming the last 10 years. Where recently, like Rhino is growing
District.
like crazy. Like 5 years ago, you would not recognize the Rhino that you see today. There's
So wait,
huge.
you're using a lot of terminology they probably don't know.
Oh, yeah.
So you've got to talk a little bit about.
So Rhino is River North, which is it's just north of your downtown Denver area, and it used to be a lot of industrial buildings out there,
Yes.
right? Not much housing or anything like that. Where now you have these huge tall buildings. We'll throw some B-roll in that way you guys can kind of see what it's developing into. But even now, we're constantly down there helping out clients. Every time we're down there, I feel like I see a new development in
Yeah.
production, and I'm like, holy crap, it is blowing up like crazy right here. It's a huge hot spot for many people who are moving into the state.
I used to drive the back way to go to Presbyterian St. Luke's to go to the hospital because I was a nurse there, and this was kind of the ghetto, guys. Like, this was the area that you were like, don't stop, or if, like, I got a flat tire one time and like I just kind of rolled on through, you know. Like, it definitely, you know, there was a lot more homelessness there. There was, you know, lower income housing right there. Not anymore. Like, this is like industrial to like this whole new hopping area.
It's
And
like super hip. Like
very,
they got a lot of graffiti art down there.
yeah, and it's also very brewery driven.
Yeah, of
lots
course,
of
yeah.
really awesome breweries. You've got new apartment living in there, condo living. I haven't seen too many houses, but I guarantee it's coming.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they're going to start building all around that now that we have kind of more of the stacked housing, multifamily housing. Anytime we see that start building up around any of like the restaurants and all that, usually there's like a surrounding neighborhood. So we'll see how that changes. But that is going to change Denver significantly because it used to be where Denver kind of started on that 20th Street.
Yeah,
and
pretty
then
much.
kind of everything happened southeast of that. Now it's spreading all the way up along I-70, and that is going to change because it's industrial from, what would you say, like 58th almost, all the way down to what used to be Rhino.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, industrial, and even in that area, they're kind of developing a little bit
They
more. You do have
are.
some factories in there. You have like a Tesla service shop. We only know because we had to bring Chelsea's
Yeah,
car.
but we're seeing like
But
condos pop
there
up
is,
there.
yeah, they have more stuff kind of popping in there. The area just north of Rhino is called Globeville, and it's another place that's really hopping. It's really picking up. You got like the National Western Complex up there, and pretty much everything north of there, it's all blown up. We have a few investor friends that we actually talk to all the time that they brag about the fact that they bought into Globeville like 3 years ago because they're like,
So
oh, it's
crazy
blowing up
that's
like
a
crazy.
name now.
So in Denver, what it all comes down to is the fact that everything is developing so much. The face of the city is changing so much, and there's a lot of that's also happening in 2023.
Yeah, so I'm going to stop here for a second because I dorked out on all this new development. You know me. If you guys don't know me, like, that is something I do. I like it diving, and then all of a sudden I'll just be like in development plans, and then I'm like, I've got handouts and all the things. Anyways, Peter and Elena totally made fun of me about my list the other day, but
We didn't make fun of her. I threw a comment out for her. Go check out our video on Zeroscaping if you want to see what we're talking about.
tell
But
me, all you Chelsea lovers.
she like gave me this beautiful list on steps to Zeroscape, and so what we decided to do was make it a little fun, you know, a little entertaining.
They were making
because
fun of me. Chelsea lovers out there, you show the love because
They're gonna rise. They're gonna come up and
come
like,
on, you rise up. Okay, so yes, as far as the development goes, you're gonna want to subscribe, guys, because we're gonna break into this new development in 2023. One of them being the convention center expansion. We're gonna go into that a little bit. I'm gonna show you some B-roll and stuff, so you're not gonna want to miss this. If you're looking at Denver, this is the stuff you need to know.
Yeah.
Restaurants, hotels. I'm talking expansions, development. I mean, even transportation things. We could not fit it into this broad video of what's like if you are moving into Denver in 2023. We could not put it all into that. Subscribe. Thumbs up, notification bell, because you're not going to want to miss it. So for now, we're going to leave it there, but development is changing the face of Denver, and you're going to need to know that those things will change what's available to you or make more things available.
real quick, guys, before we dive into that third thing, if you are looking at purchasing real estate here in the state of Colorado, Denver, from Colorado Springs all the way to Fort Collins, we are your relocation experts. So why don't you go ahead and give us a call or text on the phone number right below. Right below right there, I always forget to mention the email. I guess the email's on the bottom as well, too. So if you want to email you prefer emailing, you can reach out to us that way as well.
Okay, so the third thing that you have to know is going to be any of you sports fans coming to Denver. Now, we know we have the best football team out there, so we get it. We really, really do.
Okay, I'm a diehard Broncos fan. And
I
I
am too,
cringe.
so I can say
I cringe
that.
a little bit saying like hearing that, but
I can say it because I'm also a diehard.
let's hope that something comes of it. I don't know. We got a new coach. He was great with New Orleans, so we'll see.
We'll come back. We'll come back. Okay, if you are a big sports fan, you have to understand where sports live in Denver because a lot of people will plan their entire day around what's happening with sports.
It's true, yeah. I mean, a lot of time with the traffic that happens during those sport times, and so like we just had opening day for the Rockies.
Oh my gosh.
And I was out. We were doing an inspection on the property and stuff like that, and the inspector wanted to get in there sooner so that his drive back up north, he was going to have to go through that Rockies traffic. And it's happened so many times where, I mean, I'm going to say that like the Nuggets and the Avalanche aren't as big of a deal as like, but your Bronco games.
That's so not
and your
true.
Rockies-
He's just not as big of a fan.
I'm just,
so we're not
no,
down
I'm
there
just
at the
saying, like the traffic isn't as bad. Like Broncos games, you better watch out.
Broncos
Like
and Rockies
you better
are
make
probably
sure that
worse.
you're out of there within 2 hours of it starting, because you got all the tailgate that happens beforehand. You got all the crazies afterwards who are drunk and want to party if we did win, or want to drink more if we lost. I don't know. So-
Either get out early, like we do, or just stick around and drink afterwards until all of the crazies have like kind of, and
Yep.
then you're just left with all the other people who are either smart or drinking heavily, which is not a horrible mix. But yeah, it is crazy down there. And so, okay, help me out here. So that we don't call it the Pepsi Center anymore. We call it Ball Arena,
Ball Arena, and then you got Empower Stadium, which is where the Broncos play.
which is just, diagonal
right-
of each other. But
yeah,
still,
it's right across the highway.
Like the next
yeah.
exit, if not, you can actually take the same exit because you can take Spear, the back roads over by Federal. But that area right there will get super, super congested around sports time. So yes, we do have the light rail. So if you are a big sports fan, you plan on participating in that, you might want to look at where you're going to be in relation to other transportation to help you take advantage of that without all of the stress of having to drive down there. Or you plan ahead, you go a lot earlier, take the RTD bus, whatever it may be. Just you have to understand that that is a congestion part of our city.
Well, the good thing too about Union Station, which is like our central hub for that light rail station, it is located to where you can walk to any of the stadiums. So you can walk right across. They got a bridge that goes over to, I keep on calling it Invesco, Empower Stadium, or you can walk straight north up to Coors Field, and you got a Ball Arena that's right south of there. So it's centrally located. So if you do want to live a little bit outside of Denver, you have that transportation go right down there. Don't even have to worry about the traffic.
Okay, so this leads us into the fourth thing you need to know if you're going to move here in 2023, and that is that Colorado really does have something for everyone. We just talked about sports fans. Let's talk about a little bit of, non-sports related. So we just traveled to Florida, and we learned we're real bougie around here when it comes to food. So we have restaurants that you can have every different type of food and diet restriction. We have activities that will meet anybody's needs as far as mountain rock climbing extreme.
Rock
all the
climbing
way
thing.
to-
I've never been to a rock climbing gym, but like my sister is like a freaking pro at it or
Yeah,
something.
they're like
and
into it.
So they're always like, "Oh, did you ever check out this like rock climbing gym or
Is that
this
what she
one?"
sounds like?
No, that's my
not nice.
that's my interpretation. I sit there and I see her talking to me. I'm like, okay, she's like a rock surfing chick dude, something. Pretty much trying to say is the fact that in Colorado or Denver specifically, they cater to so many different lifestyles. It doesn't matter what it is, guys. And it's like, I mean, pets. This is probably one of the most pet-friendly cities that you have here. They're constantly accommodating to your pets. Dogs, cats. I'm not a big cat fan.
He's not a big cat fan.
Yeah, which is weird because she's the one who's allergic to them, and I
like cats. My body does it,
But yeah, like whatever lifestyle it is that you have, I mean, they just accommodate. They even built the chutes over in Central Park, so if you want to kayak in the middle of the town, boom, you got it right there. And so super accommodating. You don't just have to go into the mountains, or you don't have to go to all these specialty areas for those diets that you have.
Don't just take our word for it. Clink actually declared Denver one of the top 20 best cities in America for its unique culture and identity. So that Denver has, maybe you're in the heart of Denver, you're your business person, and you come and you go to and from, and you have all the different restaurants, and you work there all day, and then you go home. There's that. We have people who live there, and they live right next to 16th Street Mall, and they have that more busy, loud lifestyle. We have neighborhoods surrounding right outside of it for the families who want to take advantage of the city, but still have more of a traditional, lifestyle. And then also right outside of that is more of our suburbia. So it really just starts from the inside out, and no matter what you're looking for, it's within a 10-mile radius.
Yeah. The fifth thing that we're going to be covered that you might want to know about Denver is the fact that natives are rare. And I think the reason that I get to say this is I am a fifth-generation native here to Colorado, specifically Denver. I was born in Denver, and most of my family kind of grew up in and around Denver. So it's just not one of those things. When we go out and we tell people that we're natives, they're like, whoa, I really don't see too many of you guys, And so it's kind of crazy the fact that we're more rare than anything. Like growing up, that's not what it was. Growing up, you usually like, oh, you're from out of town. Where are you from? It's more of a casual conversation. And now people act like we're these rare relics or something like that.
If you saw me give Peter the dirty looks, it's because technically I'm not a native because my family just moved to California for a second. I was born and then they moved back. So my dad was born here and like his parents and all of that. And now I'm not a native because they decided to take a trip when I was born. So Peter, being a 5th generation native, he's like, well, technically you're not a native. I'm like, okay, mister, I've literally grown up here since I could talk, okay?
Yep.
So anyways, I'm technically not a native, but he's a 5th generation, so I think it makes up for my couple years of not being here. Okay, for those of you who have been following us for a while, we actually went and interviewed people in Denver talking about, you know, what it was that they liked about Denver. When we first were going to record that video, we were going to try to seek out natives and say, why do you love Colorado? We found out very quickly there weren't a lot of them. And so we ended up changing that video to, you know, if you've moved here, tell us what are some of your advice for moving here. And that was because, guys, we could not find enough natives to do a video for you to tell like kind of the roots of Colorado. Like we try to bring that as much as we can in our videos. We couldn't find a lot of people like us who have lived here for as long as we have. So that good thing about that is if you are a transplant, we don't know if it's a negative word. Like,
no, we had someone
complimenting.
complimenting. He's saying that he doesn't feel negative at all.
Yeah, we didn't think it was.
We listen to
negative.
you guys, right? And so when you talk to us, there's someone who commented and he was like, yeah, I don't see it as being.
Yeah, we're like, I don't know if that sounds bad. But for those of you who are transplants coming into Denver, you're gonna fit in really well here because there's not a lot of us left. So you might find a couple grumpy natives, but for the most part, we're very.
They're kind of
open.
moving outwards, right? And so it's like what I've seen is like most natives in Colorado, a lot of them are moving out to like either north, you know, kind of like Weld County, Greeley, kind of those areas, or even further south, where it's like we have some friends who like went all the way as far as Pueblo, or in the mountains too. But even the mountains are getting overtaken like crazy with people who aren't natives.
Yeah, especially like our snow enthusiasts coming for all of the mountain sports and all of that.
Yep.
The 6th thing that you need to know if you are moving to Denver in 2023 is what it's like to travel here, because we've had a lot of changes in Denver, especially at DIA.
Not only just traveling to here, but also out of here, right? Because you want to make sure that you have an airport that supports that system or your lifestyle. If you do want to travel quite a bit, and DIA is one of those top airports in the country. I mean, like, what were some of the stats that you were pulling up?
Well, so we're getting 39 new, what are they called? Like courses, like they're expanding, concourses. They're expanding DIA so much that it is a little cumbersome to kind of travel here right now because everything is under construction. So the signs don't always match up, or they're changing the signs. And then the one time you go there.
Oh, man, I remember there was one time, I don't know where we were going, but we had the kids. It was one of those times that the morning sucked because we're trying to park. The kids have all their luggage. You're carrying the car seat. And we go all the way to the end, and they're like, oh, guess what? North Gate's closed. Gotta go all the way south. Like, oh, crap. And, of course, we like to fly at like 4 or 5 in the morning. So we're all tired. The kids are screaming and wanting to go to the bathroom and stuff.
Coffee shop's not open yet.
Nope. And so we're like, all right, now we got to go to the south side. And then we went to the south side, and everyone went to the south side. And so it was like crazy in line. The kids didn't want to do what we told them to do. And it was just...
You know, parent life.
Yeah, parent life. There
but
you go.
even if you are traveling alone, you can't be pushing the limit at DIA because we have had so many changes that, you know, you could very quickly, that time will be ramping up and then you'll be running onto the plane because we have a lot of construction right now and they're just really preparing for growth in our city. And so we're having construction on the roads going to DIA. We have construction at DIA. So it's just something to consider when you are moving in here that yes, it's going to be amazing when it's all done. But for now, in 2023, we are still seeing significant change in the whole traveling right now. If you don't want to take our word for it, Airports Council International actually said that we are the 3rd busiest airport in the world. Like how that blows my mind. But
in the world.
In the world.
I would have thought like maybe the country, but the world. That's crazy. I know. Is that
insane.
I know like
well, it's large too.
Well, yeah, I know when DI was first built, it was the largest landmass airport that's ever been built or something like that. Don't know if we still hold that stat, but yeah, that's crazy to think that it's that big. And that makes sense why they put the GALORE in. The GALORE is a huge convention center for, you know, businesses coming in and out doing those conventions and stuff, but makes sense.
Also, we got to talk about it. If you've checked your bag, you know, you're just going to have to kind of sort through what it looks like because there are so many flights coming in at the same time and departing. Like, it is crazy at the bag check right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean...
It's kind of horrible.
We've said this so many times how we have properties in Florida, but when we go to Tampa... It is so enjoyable getting your bag when you go in there because you're like, you walk up, you're like, ding, got your bag. You go to DIA and everyone is just sitting there. They're grumpy,
angry,
they're waiting, and they're like, what the heck, where's my bag?
Yeah.
I think our son's bag actually got lost one time when we were coming back, and so
I think it's because there's so many people traveling through Denver, especially because it's also a layover.
Yeah.
Like, so it's pretty
it's just
rough.
yeah, it is. When you're going there, and like I said, we try and travel outside what we thought was the busy hours. Still, even at those times, we're there at midnight, and it's still people surrounding all the baggage claims, and it just takes forever to get your bags.
So in 2023, prepare for hard travel, but coming up in the future, I think it's going to be really, really good.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
think so.
I think
Yeah, that's
all
what
of
they're
the
trying to plan
changes
for.
is really just about being able to take in more people there and be able to have it run smoothly.
Yeah.
So, and they've made so many changes. You have to check your own bag sometimes. Like, it's very interesting. So
It is.
just plan on that, because traveling is one thing. And if people are coming in to visit you, or you're coming here multiple times to check out, if we're looking at houses, some of you guys will come in and we'll just go look at houses while you're here, or you're coming in for inspection because we've already put in a offer, whatever it may be. Just plan for what that looks like for travel.
Yep.
Okay, we've given you 6 broad things to think about if you're moving to Denver 2023, but we have told you that you need to subscribe and everything, because we are going to be breaking these down and going into more in depth of what's coming in 2023. But for now,
So for now, if you are looking at purchasing real estate here in the state of Colorado, we are the ones that you need to know, your top relocation experts. And to Denver, we're talking about Colorado Springs all the way up to Fort Collins. Give us a call or text on the phone number right below, right there, and we will make sure to answer. It doesn't matter day or night. Until next time, we love you. Bye.
bye.